Get your racket up. This is one of the most common things a coach will say. We've even said it before in our YouTube videos, but actually this is often the wrong advice, and we're going to share 2 reasons why. And thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video.
So our first reason why having your racket up is the wrong advice is that if I was to ask someone to bring their arm up, what would they do? Well, most people would bring their arm straight up next to their ear. Greg, put your arm up. And this is what people do on court, especially at the net. But this is a huge mistake for 2 reasons. Having your arm straight up often means you'll be really tense and stiff, and you won't be able to generate any power, even if the shuttle comes straight to your racket. This is because your shoulder is locked into place, so you can't generate any fluid movement, and you have to hit the shuttle with a straight arm.
And the second reason is that if your opponent hits it below net height, then you have to move your arm a long way down. And again, you'll most likely hit the shot with a straight arm, which will reduce your control.
Now, we've only talked about net interceptions so far, but having your arm up too high and too straight will also limit you in other areas of the court, such as the mid-court and the rear court. So that's what you shouldn't do, and we'll tell you what you should do later in the video, as we still have our second reason as to why getting your racket up is the wrong advice. But before this, we're going to briefly talk to you about Squarespace, who are kindly sponsoring this video.
Squarespace is a website builder and hosting platform, and they make it so easy to quickly build your own website. Trust us, we don't have the best IT skills, and we built a functional website in less than 20 minutes. And if, like us, you don't really fancy doing a typical 9-to-5 job, and you want to share your passions and hobbies with the world, then you probably need to get yourself a website.
Whether your hobby or business idea is creating a blog, selling physical products, or even selling online products like we do, Squarespace has lots of customizable templates to get you started, and you can get a free 14-day trial if you head to squarespace.com. When you're ready to launch your website, go to squarespace.com/badmintoninsight to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain using the code badmintoninsight at checkout. Without these sponsors, I would have to go back to my part-time delivery job, so thank you so much for all of your support. Now let's get back to the video.
Okay, so the second reason why having your racket up could be the wrong advice is that if you watch some professional players, they often don't have their racket up in rallies. And if they don't, why should you?
Well, whilst it's good to try to replicate what the professionals do, some players, like Kevin Sukamuljo or Hendra Setiwan, have a combination of incredible reactions, fast racket swing speeds, and an amazing ability to read the game. These 3 skills are why they can have their racket so low and can ignore any coach telling them to get their racket up. And if you have the same skills, then you can ignore your coaches too.
Leaving your racket down might also show your opponents that there are gaps in the court to hit into, and might even tempt them to hit there because you don't look ready. However, you are ready, and you bring your racket up milliseconds after your opponent has hit their shot.
Okay, so far we've told you that having your racket up is the wrong advice if you have it up too straight and too high, or if you have great racket skills. But why else might you choose to keep your racket down low?
Well, it helps you to stay relaxed and therefore, hopefully, play better quality shots as a result. If you have your arm up the whole time, your shoulder might become tense. It certainly does with me.
Keeping your racket low also means you're more likely to have a bigger swing. This bigger swing can help you to generate more power, but you still need to have very fast reactions to be able to take the shuttle early.
The game of badminton is changing in many ways, and with modern day rackets being much lighter, this is now even more possible. And this is another reason why getting your racket up might be wrong advice. It could be outdated. So we've talked about why having your racket up is the wrong advice, but when is it the right advice? And how high do we recommend actually having your racket up?
Well, it's the right advice if you don't have lightning fast reactions or an ability to develop these skills, but it's also the right advice depending where you are on the court and where you're expecting the shuttle to go to. For example, if you're expecting a shot to come above the height of the net when you're at the net or mid-court, what we would advise to most people is to have your elbows slightly out in a relaxed position. It shouldn't be too tucked in or too high above your head. And this is what us and other coaches should be teaching to stop the mistake of people putting their arms straight up next to their ear.
Most importantly, your arm needs to be in a comfortable position for you to move as fast as you can, whether that's down by your knees or up by your head. You just need to experiment with what's best for you. But in the rear court, you don't want your racket ready too high, otherwise you won't quite get your preparation right in your overhead shots. The rear court is all about staying relaxed and opening your chest out, and if you have your arm up from the beginning, then you won't be able to open out as much, and you'll lose power, accuracy and control as a result. It's also important to mention that how high you have your racket up will depend on your height. If you're a smaller player, then you'll need your racket up a lot more than if you're a taller player.
So yeah, the most important thing is your elbow positioning, hence the title. Getting your racket up is often the wrong advice. And if you're struggling to get into the right position to play your shot, you might want to try to improve your reading of the game. Doing this might mean that you can have your racket on the floor, but as you know where the shuttle is going before your opponent has even hit their shot, you can still get there in time.
And if you want to know how to do this, then we'd recommend watching this video next. And let us know in the comments below if you think we and other coaches should still be teaching people to get their racket up. We're looking forward to hearing what you think, and we'll see you on another video very soon. Bye.